For opening day, Dario, I sit this one out. And I know better because I knew if I went, the Miller Lite would be flowing in the parking lot. It would be a legendary moment. And I'm choosing to stay home. I'm wondering if there has been a moment where you thought you were going to stay home, but you ended up going and you're like, oh, that was a good move.
Look, I respect your decision because you never want to have too many Miller Lights and be on the road. But
Correct. Take responsibly.
yeah, I mean, I whenever I want to indulge, I will always have an Uber, or there are like buses that go back and forth between my house and AmFam. But Trev, I don't know if you remember this or even know this. Back in the day, Miller Lite used to be flowing in the press box. They used to have a tap in there, and then some people wouldn't be writing their stories on time because of the
Oops.
Miller Lights. I wish we still had that. Could you imagine my sportscast if the Miller Lite was still full? Hey guys, uh,
Legendary to say the least. No doubt.
yes, exactly. It'd be awesome.
And listen, opening days today, Thursday. They're back home again on Saturday and Sunday. So it's not like I'm not going to the game and doing the tailgating and enjoying the Miller Lights. I just, from a legendary moment standpoint, I'm going to make my own legendary moment. My Miller Lite is right there, and it came in a 24-pack case. And I'm going to have some buddies over. We pull our boys out of school. I've been doing this ever since Rhodey was young enough to know or old enough to know what the Brewers were. I pull him out of school for opening day. He's a sophomore. We've been doing it since he was in kindergarten. He loves it. And that moment, just like all of the moments at AmFam Field, whether it's today for opening day or this season, will absolutely be legendary. And they become legendary with the help of Miller Lite. That is a guarantee. Cheers to legendary moments with Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Inside Wisconsin to find options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Go Brewers.
We want you to do a whole lot more than just save money. We want your money to grow, just like your dreams. We want you to achieve financial well-being and the feelings that go along with that. Capital Credit Union. Doing the right thing.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Meat Mondays with Matt. We're launching our brand new hanger steaks, USDA Prime. They say if a filet and a ribeye had a baby, this is what you get. There's only one of these on every cow, and it's super, super tender. So I'm really excited to try it and show you guys. We're gonna serve it up with my favorite sauce, my cowboy butter. Let's do it. Shame that there's only one of these on every cow because this is phenomenal. That's more than money. That's money squared right there. Wow.
Shut up and sit down.
What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome in and welcome back to the Inside Wisconsin podcast here on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts. Trevor Thomas, Dario Melendez. Happy opening day, D. Let's go.
Woohoo! I'm ready. I'm ready. Put me in, coach. Got my slurve ball going. I don't even think I'm holding grip right.
You played ball, right? Did you pitch?
No, I played outfield. I was an outfielder and a leadoff hitter until anybody found out if the ball moved slightly away from me, I couldn't hit anything.
Me neither. That's so great. So when baseball starts up, you know, like I do radio and we do the podcast together. Obviously, you're on TV and the sports director for Channel 12 in Milwaukee. Is there a fan inside of you that's excited to have baseball back, or is it just tunnel vision work?
Oh, yeah, no, I always try to tell people this, like the business kind of takes the fan out of you, but my first passion was always baseball. Like I played football. I got my scholarship in college for football. I was probably best at soccer. I was all state and played ODP, Olympic Development Program, but baseball was like my favorite. And like getting out to the tailgates, seeing all the fans, getting to the ballpark, the smells, the tastes. Like I just love baseball.
But there's more to baseball than just the tailgating and stuff. We actually talked about this on the radio, and I'm curious to get your take. Jordan Stoltz throwing out the first pitch at today's Brewer game. Does that get you in to see that? Because
No,
I'm a
I
guy
don't.
that I want to get in.
I don't care about first pitch. Like I want to see. I get it for the fan perspective, and I've gotten to deal with Jordan Love a lot. I think he's awesome. He's always so down to earth. Will always take the time. Um, I don't care about first pitches, man, unless it's like I don't even know who would get me excited.
That's what
That's a
we
good
talked about.
question. Like, who would get me excited to want to get in my seat to see a first pitch? Harrison Ford.
Okay.
If Harrison Ford, who went to what was it, Carthage and Racine, he's like his acting in Racine. If he showed up to throw out a first pitch in Han Solo's or Indiana Jones's outfit, bro, I will be the biggest fangirl in the world. I'll be front row screaming, Harrison, I love you. I know. Like,
And for me, it's all about atmosphere. I just love the
yeah.
the buzz of the ballpark. I love the tailgating. Don't get me wrong. I just don't have much of an off switch, Dario. I'm either all in or all out on that. So today, when it's opening day, I'm choosing to be all out. I'll be in my garage with my buddies and my son and taking in the game, but I'm excited to get back to the ballpark, and I know you are too.
Oh man, I was there on Monday for that exhibition game, the first exhibition game. It's so much fun. Like I just love being in ballparks. Again, it smells like summer, and I think that's probably what like kind of triggers it for me. It's like, okay, we're almost done with this BS weather. We're almost gonna get some warmth. I'm gonna get my tan back. It'll be great. I'll look like a Hispanic again. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, I honestly was unaware that you were Hispanic. So how dark did you get? God, man.
Melendez? Do you know what my?
Well,
Oh, you don't. We.
I'm
You
saying
don't even know.
buddy, you don't look Hispanic. Like, respectfully, I don't know if that's respectful or not. My bad if it's not.
¿Qué pasa?
Yeah, okay, you're Hispanic.
Yo quiero Taco Bell. You don't know what my first name is though, and I don't know if a lot of people do. Like, so I don't go by my first name. I go by my middle name.
Are you
So
gonna tell
my,
us?
yeah, I'll tell you. I don't really care. My first name's Hernan. So Hernan Dario Melendez.
Perfect. I think you're Hispanic. Nobody ever told you that before, but
See.
interesting. I did not know that. All right, learned something new today. Co-host knowledge. We learned a lot today from our chat with Tim Dillard. He's the best. We know him mostly from being a Brewer and now a Brewer broadcaster. But so many of us here in the social media realm have seen his videos on what used to be Vine and then Dub Smash and now Twitter. The guy's a legend online and in the ballpark, and you'll love our conversation today with Tim Dillard on the Inside Wisconsin podcast. Tim Dillard, whatever.
Doofus.
Inside Wisconsin is brought to you by Capital Credit Union, Festival Foods, Miller Lite, Legit Pizza, Amplify Health, and Malott Meats.
He goes by Dim Tillard and Tim Dillard. He went by professional pitcher. Now he goes by broadcaster. Did I cover it all? Nashville Sounder? Yeah, whatever. Tim Dillard, the Inside Wisconsin podcast, dude. Thanks for jumping on.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, Nashville Soundsman. There's three folks call me Dad, which has kind of been the role I've had this winter. I've just kind of been going to sports stuff around town. So it's been a good winter, but man, I'm ready for some baseball.
I'm so excited for baseball to be back, Tim. I love when you're back in town just because I always have a lot of laughs. But when you look at this Brewers team, man, like I'm just very excited about them, even though I feel like every year someone picks them to finish like third or fourth in the division. At some point, they're going to get the respect, right?
You would think so, but I don't think they care. I mean, you look at some of the comments that Christian Yelich makes every year. He's like, okay, great, count us out. Like, they don't care. But what I like about the team is that it's pretty much the entire backbone of what they had last year with the biggest one, the exit, probably Freddie Peralta, and the next biggest exits, maybe Caleb Durbin and what he did. But they also got some really good, exciting pieces. So to me, if you want to try to replicate what you did from a year ago, try to have as many people in the room as you did last year. And so I think that's kind of what they went for. And it's, looks like it's going to work out pretty well.
And Tim, I mean, to kind of jump off what you just said, obviously you lose Freddie Peralta, but you get a guy like Brandon Sproat. When you lose Durbin, you get Harrison. When you look at this pitching staff, we were talking to some guys yesterday in that clubhouse before that spring training game. There's arm after arm after arm. As someone who has been in that room, I guess, with some of these pitchers, I mean, what do you think of this staff that they've assembled?
Well, I think number one, they're finding out, and some teams still haven't gotten it. You look around some of the league a little bit, but the Brewers figured it out. We're going to need 10 starters to start the season. Like, that's their goal. I don't know if it was the exact 10, but they're like, we're not going to do this with just 5 guys, burgers and fries. We're not going to figure this out. We got to have backups to the backups to the backups, because one of the hottest, biggest commodities, if you want to make money, if you want to get prospects, is starting pitching. So I think they just made sure that every time they sent a piece away, they were getting a big piece in return, because if one of these guys pans out, it's legit. But it's looking like 3 or 4 of these guys know what they're doing with the baseball on the bump. So I think the only thing lacking is experience. And, Woodruff being the only, experienced, established starters on that staff, I think people like Jim Henderson are going to step up more as far as being a voice with some of these younger guys. We've already seen Chris Hook, talking to these guys in spring. But it's all about, can we get these guys ready for a season? And if not, hopefully there's backups. But yeah, if you're going to trade away a big piece like Freddie Peralta, you better have a plan. And I think the plan is get as much starting pitching as possible.
This episode drops on opening day for the Brewers. And yes, today and this season is a big deal. And we want to cover that, but we also got to talk about like your time on the bump with the baseball in your hand. But you're in the but you're in the broadcast booth now. So maybe let's start there and work our way backwards. As you look at this year's team, the question I ask is, can they keep doing this? Can they keep entering these seasons with, I don't know, little experience, yet good players, and pull off what they've done the last 2 years? Can they keep doing this?
I mean, for whatever reason, some keep doubting them. But I think what they're doing and what Murph is getting to the forefront of all this is they're playing good baseball. Baseball got away from, trying to get fundamentals correct and just said, you know what, swing for the fence. Who cares if you strike out? And it worked a little bit. For 5 or 10 years, it worked. Like, just, we don't care if you strike out, batting average plummets. What the Brewers have managed to do is get athletic guys that don't strike out a ton, but put the ball in play. Put the ball in play and they run. And they can field. Elite defense, bat contact, run the bases. Be consistent. All of that put together, they found a winning formula. So much so that you're starting to see that from other clubs. I would say last year there was, the Blue Jays were good at it. I guess you have to say the Dodgers, of course, they just bought everything that they have.
Yeah.
What makes the Brewers so good is they're finding guys that, maybe no one's written off, but they hadn't figured out yet. And the Brewers bring them in and figure them out and say, this is the type of player you are. Let's help you with that. Give them the freedom to be able to chance to fight for a spot. And then boom, suddenly you have a great player. So I think that's the formula they have. Other teams are buying in. But one thing that they do with, getting guys over from second to third, there's been bunting. We've even seen in the exhibition games, Garrett Mitchell rolling over to first base twice with a man on third. I know that seems not like a big deal, but you're getting a run in with less than 2 outs there. So these are fundamental things that puts pressure on other teams. One thing I've seen across the board with spring training is they are trying to get back to fundamentals because they know, especially in the Central, that they're going to face the Brewers a lot. And if you don't know how to field your position and you don't know how to stop the bunt and the steal and everything else, then you're going to have problems. And we saw many teams have problems with the Brewers last year.
Now, I know Dilly doesn't like talking about this, but what, 04, 05, you were minor league pitcher of the year? Minor league player of the year?
I love talking about that, Dario. It's like favorite.
I'm trying to give you
see my bumper sticker. My bumper sticker is like 05 Brewers minor league player of the year. Yeah.
Where would 05 Dilly fit on this team?
Wouldn't. He would be an A-ball. He'd be an A-ball still.
A-ball.
A-ball. A-ball, yeah. So it was high A. I don't know if that matters.
At least you'd still be in Wisconsin.
No. Well, yeah, if I was now. I think right now some of my stuff would play from that era because I had a really good sinker and I pitched to contact. And the reason I had such a good year that year is I had a really good defense. Because in A-ball, you're actually putting guys where they actually play. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
You actually have a shortstop playing shortstop, and you have a third baseman playing third base when you got three really good outfielders. And so there was this crop of guys that just played together. We didn't win a ton of games, but I had personal success because I had a fantastic defense. The higher up you get to AAA. Well, suddenly you got a first baseman that's playing left field, and you got a third baseman that's trying catching, just because they have to address the need of what's in the big leagues. So you don't necessarily always have the best drawn up defense for what you're trying to do, but the big leagues does. So somebody like me, somebody that pitches a contact, we saw Robert Gasser do it the other day. He had like 10 ground ball outs. He's just throwing the ball, getting a weak swing and let the defense play. And I'm going to be honest, I think there's some teams that are circling back to that rather than let's go get the guy that's max effort who throws 100 pitches in 5 innings and strikes out 10, but gives up 2. And suddenly, we need guys to go 7, 8 innings. So I think teams are starting to make that a priority in their organizations.
You mentioned some of those guys you came up with. I mean, when you think back at it, you were like, before I guess this stretch now, you were part of that legendary Brewers farm system, right? Like the Brawnies, the Harts, the Weeks, Fielders. I mean, do you ever sit back and think I'm kind of part of that? Not kind of. I was part of that.
I was in the background. You
were there, bro. That was awesome.
I would peek my head in every once in a while. I'd be like,
hey, guys.
but I got to witness so much, and I think everyone was trying to figure out, like, when we're coming through the minor leagues, trying to figure out, are we really this good? Like you could see it. You could see the talent. It was, and you're like, is every organization like this? And now that I'm, in the press box, I see a lot more than I did when I was in it. It was special. And it is. You find organizations that put talent together, but talent's only going to take you so far. You get a guy that's talented, you bring him to the organization, he's got to work. And we saw a lot of guys come in with talent that just couldn't get it done. And they're just like, this isn't for me. This isn't the baseball life that I want to be a part of. But me, like, I loved it. I grew up in it. You talk about Prince Fielder. He grew up in it. Some guys are built for that. And part of me still wishes, I still play catch with the kids. I still field ground balls, and I threw a couple pitches off the bump the other day because I think that competitive nature and that lifestyle, it really never goes away. And if you have it, man, it just, like I said, you just can't turn it off.
Tim Dillard, Brewers broadcaster and former Brewers pitcher, joins us on the Inside Wisconsin podcast. Why is baseball life, Tim?
You mean like what people wear shirts that say baseball is life?
More like, why is your life?
Danny Rojas.
Danny Rojas'
life. Baseball is life. That should
Why
be you.
is-
You should be the new guy.
That's true. I mean, whether it's in the broadcast booth now, buddy, or you on the bump in the majors, or your dad. I mean, like, why is baseball your life?
I mean, probably because I grew up in it. My dad played in the big leagues before I was born. He was a coach. And from the time I could walk, we were playing baseball, learning baseball. And, I got 3 kids. My oldest son, he's good at baseball, but he's not thinking about baseball a lot. He's not out there he runs track. He's really smart. He's got all this other stuff going on. But I'm not going to be the dad that pushes him like, you're going to be 3rd generation big, I'm not going to be that guy. Because kids are going to gravitate towards their like. So now I got a youngest son, he's 10. And this kid wakes up in the morning and he turns on baseball, like all the recap stuff on MLB.com. Like, he's just watching this. And I didn't tell him to do that. And he asks questions about baseball. And he's seeing what guys do really well. And so he didn't always listen to me, but I'll tell his coach to tell him and he'll listen. But that's the idea. Some people are just gravitating towards it. And some people are kind of like, okay, like my daughter could care less. She's been to so many games. She's been to more major league games than the average kid who probably has season tickets, and she's like, whatever. She's like on her phone. So people are going to gravitate what they gravitate towards. And so me and my brothers all played baseball. I was the one that got hurt the most early. And so I was able to take care of myself and have a longer career. But we all just loved it. If my dad was a painter, we'd probably be painting. If my dad was a golfer, we'd probably be golfing. But for whatever reason, he was making sure.
Bro.
Matt, I think you're going to say that. I play once every 15 years. But I grew up with a baseball field in my backyard. My dad put bases down and dirt. We had a mound, and it was where all the neighborhood kids came was to our house because we had a flat green backyard. We had a basketball goal off in the middle of nowhere. We had footballs and soccer balls and frisbees. Like my dad created a place where people would come and you would just be outside and play whatever sport. But we always came back to baseball. It's just a special game.
You mentioned having such a long career, which you did. Why? Like, why did you want to stick it out for so long? Because I think a lot of people, when they have the success you have early on, and then you kind of just get stuck in the minors, for lack of a better term. You know,
Fizzled out. Say it, Dario.
You didn't fizzle out. You didn't fizzle out. But I mean, you kind of almost became a mentor to the new guys coming up. Like, I remember walking around with you or being on the team flight, and Woody would gravitate to you and Burns would gravitate to you. And like all these guys you played with in the minors would just like go and sit next to you. I'm like, bro, this guy played like 2 centuries ago. He's a nobody. Why do these guys want to talk to him? No, I'm just kidding. No, but like that had to be cool. Like to see the progression of your career go from top prospect to major league ball player on that 2011 team to then the yeoman for these other guys that are going to be a part of this 18, 19, 20 squad.
Yeah, there's still guys that are playing, that I was teammates with, and there's quite a few, and it just shows longevity. Just because for whatever reason, and listen, I tried to quit a lot. The Brewers tried to get me to quit. I was the oldest guy in Double A in 2014, and Gord Ash was assistant GM at the time, and he came to Huntsville, Alabama, and was like, "Why don't you just stop? Will you please stop?" And he's like, "We'll make you a coach." I was like, but I'm still kind of good, if you give me an opportunity. And he was like, "Nah, I think you're done," and I tried to do other stuff every off season. I would train some, but I was also like, okay, do I need to get into this field? Because I have 2 whole years of junior college under my belt. So I don't really know what to do outside of baseball, but I just kept but I searched, and I think what happened was, I was able to enjoy baseball more because I was keeping it at arm's length. Like maybe it wasn't life in that way. It wasn't the end all. I had, kids were getting older. I was getting older, more mature. And so that perspective came in, and it almost made me a better baseball player because I bounced around. I went to Mexico, went to independent ball a couple times, kept coming back to the Brewers, and ended up playing with the Rangers. My last season, I was with the Milkmen in Franklin, Wisconsin, playing.
Won a championship?
Won a championship, got my ring. It's not on right now, but I wear it. And anyway, just for whatever reason, I think my perspective on the game was unique because it was taken away from me a lot. And I had to fight for it, to get back. And then there was other times where I thought I was completely done. And then boom, here comes a miracle in my lap. And so, but a lot of people don't know that in baseball, a lot of people quit. They show up, they see what the lifestyle is, what it requires, and they realize, not going to do this. And I think it even goes with spouses too. I think they get into this and they're like, nope, this isn't for us. I never had anything else. And luckily my wife still loves me. So it's like, honey, it's baseball. And then that's all we got. So anyway, but that was my journey. If I would have gone back and, wrote down everything, I'd have some really cool stories, but I played so long, I just forgot most of them.
I think one of the other things that I love that you kind of trailed off into toward the end of your career was those videos, your social media presence. I think that's what people love the most about you is how you kind of you did it in a funny way, but you brought us inside the clubhouse because there's so much downtime and someone who got to participate in a lot of those videos. First off, how'd that even come about? And who was the favorite person besides me that you got to work with?
Did these start on Vine?
I had a Vine account. That was where you
would Vine?
I never heard of this. Where it all started, Dario.
You old guys.
This guy over here.
This guy.
Now, it was like an app on a phone thing, and you could do stop motion animation. I remember I got it. We were in Omaha. I don't even know what year it was. And we got rained out, or we were getting rain. And I remember I had found a baseball a guy had a baseball in the clubhouse. He was just peeling the cover off of it just because it was broken. And we're bored in the clubhouse. Guys are playing cards. So I took the baseball, took the cover off of it, put it in my locker with a piece of tape, and I filmed on Vine, and I slowly unpeeled it. So there's this 10-second video. I don't even know where it is now. I think it's on a hard drive maybe somewhere. But it's this baseball that's, taking the cover off itself and like rolling away. And then the cover goes back and closes over again. And then it recycles, And so it looks like it just another ball comes out of it, another ball. And guys were like, that's so cool. So we kind of gravitated towards Vine, but that went away. And then here comes Dub Smash in 2015. 10-second clip gives you the audio, you fill in the video. And we shot so many videos in the clubhouse, but it was Rick Sweet. We were in Colorado Springs, and I went to Rick Sweet, manager, still managing for the Sounds in AAA. Yeah, I went, hey, there's this little video thing. I was like, if you trust me, I'll film videos, but I'm not going to show anything in the clubhouse because you don't do anything in the clubhouse. You don't talk about what happens in the clubhouse. You don't film in the clubhouse, take pictures. Like clubhouse is a clubhouse. That's your safe space.
It's Fight Club.
He was like, he was like, I trust you. Yeah, Fight Club. Don't talk about it. He was like, I trust you, Dilly. I think you're going to make us look good, man. And what I really designed it to do was to show what the life was like. The fact that it's not always easy. It's not always rainbows and butterflies. It's hard, but you have a sense of humor about it. And, talking about some of my favorite people that did it, Woodruff he was fun to have on there. We would dress up in mascot uniforms. And I remember one time we shot a video in Round Rock, Texas. We had a young kid there, Bat Boy, and we had him like he just won the College World Series. We did the SpongeBob SquarePants. I think Oregon or somebody won it. So like Oregon's like jumping on, yeah, we won the College World Series. And then we're like 1 week later, like this guy signs pro ball and he walks in and it's in the bathroom. And Brandon Phillips is pretending he's in the shower. He's looking out. Ned Yost IV is making a peanut butter sandwich at the sink. Somebody's doing abs on the floor. I can't remember who it was. And then Woodruff comes out of the toilet, like spray. And they all look at the young kid. The young kid's like, wide-eyed, like, what? That's one of my favorite videos because it sums up what professional baseball is. It is just, it's crazy. But the videos, the videos helped us like cope with the hard parts of the game.
Inside Wisconsin is brought to you by Capital Credit Union, Festival Foods, Miller Lite, Legit Pizza, Amplify Health, and Malott Meats.
So we just got back from spring break. It was awesome. Went to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. But I don't travel for long without making sure that I have my favorite food along with us.
Mm-hmm.
Pep's Legit Pizza made the trip specifically for March Madness. So good news, March Madness isn't over. You can still get to a Festival Foods or wherever you find Pep's Legit Pizza and have that parlor-style thin crust pizza at your house and watch some hoops. Are you a thin crust?
Oh, I love thin crust.
Okay, good. You're required to like thin crust pizza before becoming a part of this show. I screwed that up. You're a thin crust guy. Thank God. This would have been an awkward conversation.
It's a battle in this household because my wife is a Chicagoan, so they like that soup they have down there. We don't do soup in this house. We got to have that thin crust. That's why I love Peps. That sausage mushroom. Woo.
Dude, I'm a mushroom guy. Okay, this is great news. See, look at us. Learning so much about each other today. Nobody wants to do the pepperoni mushroom or the sausage mushroom in this case with Legit Pizza. Ew, mushrooms?
Why?
No. I don't know. It's a texture thing for a lot of people. Not this guy, not you.
Clowns.
I agree. Look for it. Sweet box, even better pizza, Pep's Legit Pizza, whether it's for hoops or baseball this season. We highly recommend the Pep's Legit Pizza here on Inside Wisconsin.
Pump up the savings with Festival Foods Gas Rewards. How does it work? Simple. Grab your card in store. Register online. Get points for every grocery run. Then roll up to Quick Trip and watch the prices roll back. Festival Foods Gas Rewards.
So, Tim, Dario mentioned it. We fell in love with you on the video side and obviously on the baseball side. But at some point, you must have fallen in love with us, as in Wisconsin. Maybe that's an assumption, but you've never left, even though this isn't home per se. So what is it about maybe the Brewers organization or Milwaukee or Wisconsin as a whole that you just get?
When you have no choice when you're getting drafted or getting signed, like it's a crapshoot. There was 4 scouts that were looking at me, and I remember the first Brewer guy I met. We were on a road trip in high school. I don't even know what high school it was. And I was standing on deck, and I look over, and there's a guy in khakis and a polo, pretty standard for scouting attire at the time. But I didn't know any different. No scouts had been there. And he's just standing there. And I'm like, I don't think that's anybody's dad on our team, you know? And he was just like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, good, random guy. But I had the best game of my life. Hit 2 homers, hit a double, had a single, I think. I caught 6 innings. I threw 3 runners out. And then I pitched the last inning and struck out the side. So it was like the best game ever, right? And so after the game, the guy came up and said, he's like, hi, I'm Jonathan Story. I'm a scout for the Brewers. And so that was the first moment. That was maybe March-ish in 2001. So that's where it began. And then you're talking to me now because I'm still a part of the Brewers organization. So it's been a while, and who knows if it was the Orioles or some other, the Expos were looking at me for a while.
Oh, how's your French?
I know they don't exist anymore, but yeah, no bueno. So anyway, like I don't know whatever reason, but once they took a chance on me, I'm all in, right? Like you put your trust in me, that you believe in me. I think a player should put that right back to an organization. There's a lot of players that don't want to get hurt. They tiptoe. They're like, I don't want to get too involved here. I was setting down roots, man. I'm like, I'll be here forever. That was probably negligence on my part, thinking I was going to play 20 years in the big leagues or something. But I don't know. For whatever reason, they seem to enjoy having me around, and I completely love it because it's my second home. It is. I know everybody here. I was at the exhibition games earlier, and I could see people that work at the ballpark that were enjoying the time there, being fans. I go talk to everybody, the concession stand workers, people in the press box, the camera guys, camera ladies, people in the truck. Like, it's just a fun team to be around. And that was what was lacking when I was done being a player. I was like, where am I going to find my next team? And then suddenly I'm next to Dario, right? And it's 3 a.m. and we're talking about the Brewers Padres.
On Brewers Live. God, yeah.
And everyone's like, what are we doing? And I was like, I'm used to this, man. This is perfectly normal. This kind of stuff, it's normal for me. So I think that's kind of what it is. I don't know. You either embrace it or you fight against it. And I love it.
Yeah, Brewers Live after dark. Those are always those fun West Coast trips.
Yeah.
And Trevor, I could attest to him talking to everybody. It would take us an hour to get from the set to the damn press box because everybody wanted to come up and shake his hand and play with his beard and take a picture. And they're like, hey, guys, can I get a picture? I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. I get, no. Can you take the picture for us? Like, you son of a... I have eyes, too, okay? But, I mean, Tim, that's got to be another part you really love about being back. I mean, being with the organization, like just the fan interaction. Because, I know every time I'm there, I still get a ton of Brewers love from the videos that we shot, the stuff that we've done together. Like, Brewers fans are awesome. And I'm guessing that's a big reason why you felt so comfortable coming back here over and over again.
I mean, if people don't mind having me around, I love being here. And that's just, it goes probably back to my dad, the way he ran the house. It was kind of like a clubhouse. And if you've ever been part of a clubhouse, I mean, there's a certain code that you're a part of. You get to know everybody. You don't just get to say their name or, hey, how's it going? Like, doesn't matter if there's a language barrier or not. You get to know, you dig in and cultivate these relationships. And so I've been fortunate because, I get to see the same people year after year, and it's exciting. What are you doing with your life? What's happening? What's going on? What do you think about the Brewers this year? And you're right, Dario. Sometimes it takes a long time because you got to make the rounds, man. You got to make the rounds.
I get it.
Best fans in baseball, man. I think a lot of people don't know that because if you go, you will see some of the same people, and they'll sit in the same seats, and everyone knows everybody, and they're in the parking lot. I've been invited to tailgates already for opening day. I mean, that's just
and you'll go.
It makes me feel like a family. I'll go. Yeah, I'm 100% going.
I remember telling you. You would tell the first year he was doing Brewers Live, Trev, he didn't have a place to stay. So he was literally staying at fans' houses. Like, he would stay at the guys like, bro, like people he didn't know, not even host families, like strangers on Twitter. He told me like one day there was one like in like Manitowoc where you woke up with the dogs licking your face on the couch. You're like, oh, I gotta get out of here.
I was in Mosquito.
Yeah. I'm like, Dilly, I have an extra room if you need that. Like, no, man, this guy sounds really cool on Twitter.
You never told me that.
Don't you even try. I was like, oh my God, you're way too trusting. Yeah, I kept telling him he's gonna. What was it? The dude from Silence of the Lambs, Billy Bob.
Yeah, I'm going to run into the wrong person staying
Yeah,
at their
they're
house.
gonna make a Tim Dillard suit out of you one day.
Well, yeah, so I slept on about 14, 15 different people's couches all across the area. And honestly, my before that, my time here was basically Milwaukee. I'd stay in Brookfield a little bit, maybe a couple other little pockets, but didn't know the area at all. So sleeping on people's couches from social media allowed me to see a lot of the state, and it was incredible. And these are people I did not know, and they let me into their home, sleep on their couch, get show off their like Brewers memorabilia and stuff, and like where they got this souvenir and when they got this and the story behind it. And I was fascinated because it number one, it shows the gravity of what this team means to these fans. And so if anything else, it was a gut check for me, like you better get this right, and you'd never take. Rock says it all the time. Saw Rock the other day, he says it all the time. He's like, there could be one person out there listening for the first time to you. He's like, don't ever take a minute off. He's like, you do your best every game, no matter what's going on. And that level of focus has definitely trickled down to me. That's how I run with it. The guys in the booth, they take it serious because they're talking about a product that's special on that field and means a lot to the people that are watching.
Yeah, Trev, who is this supposed to becoming that memorabilia?
This episode kicks off the 6th season of Inside Wisconsin on the podcast. This is 5 full years. This is the first episode ever where our guest said, well, by staying on the couches of people through social media, I really learned that.
Nope. It was hilarious. There were 3 things I really loved about working with Dilly. One, it was always so much fun. Like I'd walk in and I'm usually there really early and he was there way before me, like just prepping for these games. I was like, that's impressive. Always like jamming out to something. I loved hearing his stories about where he had stayed the night before, which was always fun. He always had a video we were going to do. I still think like the folded in one was just folded. Like, I don't know what you're doing. And then he'd always try to make me like laugh. Like his Uncle Ricos were great. But sitting with you watching a baseball game was my favorite thing in the world because we all get to experience Tony Romo on a weekly basis. That's what Tim is. Like he would be calling out pitch sequences. He'd explaining why they're going to do this. He'd be explaining what the batter's thinking. And I never really thought of it that way. Like I played ball in college, but coach was like, yeah, if it moves, try to hit it right. If it comes down the middle, try to pull it down the line. I'm like, cool. Thanks, coach. No, but like your expertise was always like my favorite part about watching a game with you.
I appreciate that. And, you don't have to be the best player. In fact, some people would say sometimes the best player is not going to work or be as good on TV, or whatever. And the reason is not because they're not good or whatever. It's because they're great. You look at somebody like A-Rod. I know a lot of people attack A-Rod. I think he does an okay job. I got no problem with A-Rod. But the guy was good, like the best for like 20 years. And you start thinking about it, he's never sat down and just watched a game. Mm-hmm. He never has. He's always been playing. Me, on the other hand, I barely played, but I was at every single game. So I'm in the bullpen and and all you're doing in the bullpen, you're goofing off for the first however many innings, but you're still keeping a light eye on what's going on in the game. And it's fun to hear everybody talk about, all right, what'd you throw this guy? Oh, I faced this guy in Double-A. Oh, I remember this guy. And so there's communication and information weaving in and out of that place. And the whole time you're like, all right, if I'm the pitcher, like, okay, I'm putting together my craft on what I'm about to do against this team based on some of the stuff that I've heard just now from these guys and based on some of the swings that I've seen already in the ball game. And so you're kind of putting all this together and you're just, that's the way my mind always worked. Like you're just kind of, it's information, it's transactions, every pitch, every play. And so, yeah, that's what, watching TV, we'd be sitting in a room, right, at the studio. Yeah. Getting ready for a post-game show. We're watching the game and we're watching it, man. And I've seen thousands of these. I've been at the games. I've seen thousands and I watch it on TV probably now more than I ever have. And there's always something to notice. And I think to be a good ball player, you kind of have to be very observant. You have to be able to do that and kind of see all the angles of what's going on. And so that's kind of what I always did. I'm a pretty observant guy. And so I just applied that to baseball, I guess.
the cool part is what made you good at baseball is what makes you an awesome broadcaster. And we get to start fresh on the 26th season today. Brewers home, the kickoff, the opening day. We're grateful that you stopped by us. Yeah, there's the M and the B, baby.
Aw.
Yeah, there it is, baby. Stole this.
I was going to
Gift
say
shop.
that's way too
Never know.
new. That's way too new for you. It's not from a Goodwill bucket.
No, not yet. Not yet. So, some people do send me pictures of jerseys and like T-shirts and stuff of mine at like Goodwill. Somebody got a jersey of mine from Beloit, and it's 100% mine because I know it because I remember wearing it and I got a few pictures of it. But yeah, anyway, it was like a road jersey from the Beloit Snappers 2004.
That's
So you
amazing.
never know what you'll find at Goodwill.
Love it. Appreciate you, Tim. Dilly, we appreciate you, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Inside Wisconsin is brought to you by Capital Credit Union, Festival Foods, Miller Lite, Legit Pizza, Amplify Health, and Malott Meats.